Everybody, Railsplitter Athletics Report is on the air. I'm your host, Rusty Peace, and we've got a great show in store for you tonight. Jeff Sziksai, head coach of the Railsplitter baseball team, is our guest. A lot going on out there at the Lamar Hennon Field, and we'll talk about that, as well as his returners for the 16th season and the newcomers to the Railsplitter baseball team this year, as well as the schedule. So there's a lot to talk about just in terms of baseball. We'll talk with Josh Schertz, head coach of the Railsplitter basketball team, coming up later on in the show. Railsplitter's now 13-2 on the year and still undefeated in South Atlantic Conference play as they head to Salisbury, North Carolina this weekend to take on the Indians of Catawba College. We'll talk women's basketball to close out the show. Crystal Evans and her team taking the number 14 nationally ranked Trojans of Anderson to the wire on Wednesday night, going to double overtime before falling in that, and we'll tell you all about it. That's coming up next. Want to remind you to keep up to date on everything going on with LMU Athletics. Pull up the LMU Athletics website, www.lmurailsplitters.com. We're back right after this.
Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Subway of Harrigan and Middlesboro has your fresh interest at heart. On your way to work, try one of our mouth-watering breakfast sandwiches or flatbread omelets. If it's lunch or dinner you're after, choose from a wide selection of classic, select, or premium sandwiches that are all made specifically to order. Serving a crowd, Subway also has sandwich platters, giant subs, box lunches, and even cookie platters. Be it dine in or carry out, you can eat healthy and eat fresh at Subway. 368 Catawba Avenue in Harrigan and on the corner of the Village Square Mall, Middlesboro. You love your car or truck? Let us help you keep it clean at Soapy J's. Soapy J's has unlimited wash plans to fit every budget. Try our $5 express wash or one of our 3 monthly wash plans. The wheel deal, the Soapy J, or the new Blast Wax. With our monthly wash plans, if you pay with credit card, all you do is pay for the present month and your card will be billed on the first of each month. Don't forget, Soapy J's has free vacuums with any wash. Soapy J's Express Car Wash, open 7 days a week. Let us help keep your car or truck clean at Soapy J's. Soapy J's on the Cumberland Gap Parkway, Middlesboro. Their institutional case good or architectural woodwork. Nolan Products Incorporated of Knoxville has been serving East Tennessee, Southwest Virginia, and Southeast Kentucky since 1958. From concept to finish, Nolan Products custom builds to the highest quality standards to meet your facility specifications while using only the finest materials available. Nolan Products has been serving and meeting the needs and requirements of general contractors and architects in East Tennessee and surrounding area for more than 55 years. Nolan Products Incorporated, 912 Forsyth Street Northeast, Knoxville.
Welcome back to the Railsplitter Athletics Report. The LMU baseball season is less than 3 weeks away, something like that. And, of course, for Jeff Sziksai and his team, they're preparing for that. And it's kind of hard to do with all the cold temperatures. Fortunately, not a lot of rain right now. So if you can brave the cold, you can get out there and work out on the field. Yeah,
this time of year, it is what it is, and we deal with it the best we can and hope for dry days and get out there and get what we can in. And just part of the territory, that's part of the country. And Division II baseball starts February 1, so you do what you got to do.
Snowmageddon kicked in, I think, last year in early February. We've still got that to possibly look forward to. But I know that you have been hard at work on the Lamar Hennon Field. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. In terms of the actual things going on. But your team, I've seen them out there for several weeks, and that long warm spell that we had just prior to the Christmas break really probably assisted you and those guys going out and working out in individual workouts and so forth.
Yeah, December was really warm, and it was nice to have to be able to get out on the field when guys came back a little bit early and kind of had a captain's-led week of practice and had good weather for that, so getting a jump on the gun and so it's been good. Can't complain too much about the weather, especially in December, and hopefully we'll continue that in January.
A few of you guys picking up the torch in other areas. I think I was picking up the food one day for the TV crew before a basketball game, and I saw one of your guys over at McDonald's grabbing breakfast or lunch for everybody over there.
Yeah, it's when the calf's not open, you do what you got to do and get them fed any way you can, and those guys can eat, so you got to figure it out.
Let's talk about some of your returners this year. I mean, you had a team last year that lost some guys, as most teams do each year, and a team that had a lot of talent on it.
Yeah, offensively, we lost a bunch. I think we lost 5 or 6 out of our everyday lineup last year, and Fortunately, we're getting some guys back on the mound this year that were injured last year. I think are really going to help us. But yeah, guys like Kelvin Brito and Johnny Lowe, and I don't want to miss anybody, Scotty Miller, and all those guys in the middle of the lineup be hard to replace. But I think getting some pitching back healthy this year will help us.
The newcomers. I don't know what you were in need of in terms of your look at it last year, but how important with the newcoming guys this year was it to bring in new arms into the rotation?
Yeah, you can never get too much good pitching, and we've got some new guys in the program, especially some young guys, some freshmen I think are really going to impact our rotation. Guys that jump off the page, Matt Mullenbach, Ethan Elliott, I think are going to have a significant chance to impact our rotation. Pete Proddy, another one, but we've got several. And then again, I think the big pieces are the pitchers that are coming back from injury. But the new guys are going to impact us in a big way, and I'm looking forward to getting out there and in real game competition. You know, practice is one thing, bullpens are one thing, but when you flip the lights on, we'll see. It's hard to rely on freshmen, but we're going to this year.
You've had some changes in your coaching staff as well.
Mm-hmm. Josh Epstein joins us from Bloomsburg University. I've been there the last couple of years as their pitching coach, and 7 years at Ramapo College in New Jersey before that. Has had an immediate impact with our pitchers. And Kyle Floyd joins the staff as our graduate assistant. Of course, Kyle was a two-time all-conference player for us the last 2 years as a catcher, and he'll be sorely missed on the field as a catcher, but he's helping out our coaching staff, doing a great job. And then Justin Haywood returns he was our graduate assistant last 2 years, and now is a paid assistant for us, so he returns.
Well, you know, those aren't the only new things going on at the Lamar Hennett Field. We've seen some renovations taking place, and I do want to get into that in depth. Recently, the old fence, the border out there being taken down. There you see that, the post being pulled up, the warning track still there. There you see one of the skid steers or pieces of equipment being used, the old fence rolled up. I had to ask, what is Jeff Sziksai doing right here? The next thing I know, the fence takes a 5-foot lift across the board and then a 5-foot lift on the hitter's eye in center field. Now 15 and 10. That's a poke to get it out of there.
Yeah, well, the old chain link fence was put up several years before I got here, so I'm in year 13. So that was at least 15 years old, was in need of replacing. And every year we raise money, we work hard at it and try to do something to our facility to improve it. And this year was replacing the outfield fence. And so we're going with a metal panel fence, which has become a pretty popular look at a lot of colleges and pro parks. And so we raised it. It was originally 6 feet high, so we're going up to 10 foot. The middle batter's eye in center field was originally 10, and it's going up to 15. So it'll give our park a really clean, finished look. It will be a little tougher to get it out of the yard, but I think it will bring a nice aesthetic to the field and help in a lot of different ways. Recruiting, it's nice to have something that looks that way. So.
I want to go into a comment that I heard many, many years ago, probably before you took over the helm. Someone once said, well, you know, it was a coach, our field is the worst in the league. Now, that's not to take anything away from what LMU does for its facilities, but since that time, I look at the renovations that have been made with the sodding of the infield, sodding of the outfield, the constant work that takes place on the base pads and so forth, and then at the dugouts, the turf in front of the dugout, the fence, there's the scoreboard. How can I forget the scoreboard? Just a beautiful scoreboard. I look at this now, and I don't know how long ago that comment was made, but I'd look at it among the schools that maintain the fields themselves, unlike Tusculum where they had a deal with a farm club, one of the best in the league.
Yeah, I appreciate the compliment, Rusty. It's our players and coaches take a tremendous amount of pride in keeping it up. You know, we want it to be as good a surface as we can make it, and we work hard at it, and want to make it look nice. Have our players playing a surface that's up to par, and then again, recruiting, be able to bring recruits in and their families and show them a quality facility. So we work hard at it, and we want it to be nice.
I know when I've mentioned this to you a couple of times, when we have people come up to the Sigmund Center, you know, the view out the door has a center field view of the baseball field. and we receive so many compliments on the looks of it out there. But when you have a recruit come in, I mean, that's got to be a huge selling tool when they come in and look at this place and it's just manicured.
I think the common response from recruits that come on campus that have never been on campus before, the whole ball of wax, everything at LMU, the athletic facilities, but also DCOM and the Mann's building and everything, the apartments. When I sit down with them afterwards, the response typically is, man, I had no idea LMU had all this. And that's a positive thing. Getting them here and seeing it is key, and the athletic facilities in general are a big part of that. So we want there to be them walk on and be immediately struck by, okay, this guys take pride in what they're doing, and I think by and large that happens.
The look of the surface, the scoreboard that went up about a year ago, the fence now with that major league look, it really gives it a big league ballpark type atmosphere. What are some other things that you can foresee over the next, this year to a few years that we need to do in order to really bring that up a little further?
Yeah, I'm never a shortage of ideas of what I want to do. Once we get something done, it's on to the next thing, and we start hard fundraising for the next thing. I think things that I could see happening would be on the sides, where the chain link is on the sides, taking that out and going with brick down the side. I could see that being within reach. We've also toyed around with the idea of artificial turf in our infield. That's a much bigger price tag, and so I could see that happening in a few years down the road if we can get the approval to do so. So those are the two biggest things. And we've got an indoor facility on the horizon. Don't know if it will be on site at our field or somewhere else on campus, but I think those are the things that are immediate that I think will happen in the near future. So,
well, without a doubt, this season is upon us, and you're going to open the year with your annual 3-game series against USC Aiken. They're typically a nationally ranked program. But in addition to that, what does the 2016 schedule look like, both with non-conference and conference opponents?
Conference-wise, we're a little bit different this year. We've gone to an unbalanced schedule, meaning there will be 2 teams in our conference that we do not play. Unfortunately, this year it's Tusculum and Carson Newman, our 2 closest rivals. That was just dumb luck. So we'll start the conference schedule a little bit later and only play 8 series instead of 10. So that will be different. We'll open up with Anderson in the conference schedule and play 8 series instead of 10. So that'll be a new look. What that does is gives us a few more weekends at the beginning to figure out what our team is. Last year, there were a lot of teams that were opening up playing conference games, which is crazy, but I think we got 3 games in before we played a conference game last year. So gives us maybe 10 games to play before conference and figure out a little bit more what we are. So I'm looking forward to that and see how that affects us and everybody else in the league as well.
Coach, we're looking forward to the 16th season. We're going to be having some games through the LMU Sports Network, I'm told, so look for it right here on this same station. Coach, good luck.
Thanks.
Railsplitters open the year on the 5th of February down in Aiken, South Carolina against the Pacers, and we want to wish them the best of luck. We'll take a time out, be back. We'll talk with Josh Schertz coming up next.
Established in 1982, Dixie Roofing Incorporated of La Follette has been the industry's leader in commercial roofing throughout Knoxville, Tennessee, and surrounding counties for more than 30 years. From medical facilities to office buildings and educational institutions, Dixie Roofing has the experience, expertise, equipment, and know-how to handle roofing needs of any commercial structure, big or small. Dixie Roofing is also on the web at www.dixieroofing.com. Dixie Roofing Incorporated.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Everywhere that we go, he makes people laugh and makes people smile, and I feel like I have that quality.
He's the one who always takes me fishing. I watch golf with him.
I watch him cook, because when I grow up, I want to be a cook too.
We have the same faces like this.
Dad is the one, when you fall, that picks you up.
That unconditional sense of presence and reassurance is really what makes him my father.
Josh Schertz and the Railsplitter is now 9-0 in the South Atlantic Conference play, 13-2 overall, ranked number 16 in the latest NABC poll. Victorious this past Saturday and Wednesday over Queens and Anderson University. They'll travel to Salisbury, North Carolina this coming Saturday to take on Catawba College. And Coach, it's another week of South Atlantic Conference play, and it doesn't get any easier.
No, they unfortunately all are, incredibly challenging, and that's a real big key in this league, is to be able to handle winning, handle losing the right way and appropriately, and learn from them, and then move forward and get ready to meet the next challenge. I know it gets kind of boring to hear that, but that's really the only way to do it. Got to have the guys in the mindset that the only day that matters is today, and you got to be able to move forward. I thought we were did okay with that, not as good as we could have coming off Queens and having to get ready there for Anderson, and certainly we'll have to be better on Saturday to have a chance to be successful at Catawba.
We're not yet halfway through the South Atlantic Conference schedule, and I look at the teams that I've seen the Railsplitters play in league, and it's not like 4 or 5 years ago where you had some teams out there that were just bad.
Right.
I mean, everybody seems to be bringing it. And when you look at their record, it's not really indicative of the level that they play at.
Well, I think, people have a tendency, particularly, I think our players do, but fans, particularly, and then sometimes players that don't have the right approach. But you can look at somebody's record and try to make a sweeping generalization about that team. So let's take, you take Catawba, for instance. You say, well, they're 5-4 in the league, so they can't be that good. But then they lose by 1 point last night. They lose by 1 point to Mars Hill earlier in the year. So if they win those 2 games, they score 2 more points. They're 7-2 in the league, and you're going, my God, they're the 3rd best team. They're 3rd in the league. So I mean, this is a huge. So 2 points, either way, and that's what I say. People get caught up in records and things like that. But this league is brutal, and the thing about it is, it's so evenly matched. When you really sit down and go across the board, every night, every Wednesday, every Saturday, there's a few games you think, well, this team's going to definitely handle this team will definitely handle that team. And the reality is, you never know. Lenore Ryan's 5-4 in the league right now, but that's a 4 overtime loss to us. That's a 105-102 loss to Queens. That's an overtime loss to Newberry. Those 3 games fall differently, and they're 8-1 in the league. And you're going, well, they're the best team. They're in position to host the region. So margins are small. You got to be ready for every challenge, and pretty much everybody's going to go through their ups and downs during the South Atlantic Conference season because, again, it is so evenly matched.
It is. It's the most even keel I've seen it in a long time. Although you wouldn't know that by looking at some of the teams' records. But I can tell you right now, if there was a year that any team in the league could beat another one, it is definitely this year. And not being halfway through the SAC schedule, that has me kind of in that level of the fear of the unknown, because we still have to travel to Catawba. We've got to play a few other teams, Tusculum, who really has come on strong since the one that I saw them play to open the year over in Bristol, Tennessee. Let's go back to Saturday's game, Coach. I thought, one of the bigger games in terms of the magnitude of 2 nationally ranked teams that I've seen LMU play at home in the Tex Turner Arena in my life. And I thought your team brought it to the table as strong as I've ever seen them bring.
Yeah, we definitely was obviously a huge test playing I think the highest ranked team never come into Tex Turner. Certainly Division II era, I know that's the case, and I think even coming here in the NAI era. So, it was I thought guys were ready to play. They were excited and competed and played very well. I thought we fought for 40 minutes. I thought we performed well in different areas. We defended well. We rebounded well. I thought, we executed a pretty high level offensively, and, it was a really good team win because we had to play through a lot of foul trouble, had to play through a lot of different things, and we were able to do that. And really our again, a great team win because of how involved and how good our bench was.
Well, without a doubt, the Railsplitters with the win. Moved up in the NABC poll from 19 to 16. The oddity of that is, though, that Queens, who lost to Lincoln Memorial, falls from the number 8 spot to number 13, and I kind of left scratching my head on that one. We've done that a couple of times this year.
Well, yeah, like I said, you can throw logic out the window with these rankings. I mean, we were 11. We lost to Bellarmine, who I think was 14 or 15. We fall 8 spots. And then, Queens, who's 8, loses to us, but they only fall 5 spots. And we, Bellarmine, when they beat us, jumped from, I think they were 15 up to 9. And they jumped 6 spots. We jumped 3. I've always felt, like I said, the rankings were very subjective. Somebody in there is not a huge LMU fan. Fortunately, we've done enough to kind of overcome a lot of maybe whatever biases exist. They haven't been able to knock us out of the poll, but certainly they do their best to put us in that position. You know, we started off the year 5 in the country, and we're 13-2, and our 2 losses were to a King team that was in the top 5 in the country at one point, and a Bellarmine team that's top 10 in the country. We've beaten 2 nationally ranked teams in Queens and Lenoir-Rhyne at the time we played them. So, you know, again, it's not sensical, but I would, you know, over the years I've kind of grown to expect a lack of logic.
Queens wasn't the only win on the week. Well, they took on, the Railsplitters took on Anderson University Wednesday night at home in the Tex Turner Arena, and while it didn't come as easily, LMU did come out with the win, and that pushed them to 13-2 overall, 9-0 in league play. Another one of those teams that's very young but very talented, one that's struggling because of youth right now. But when you look at what they're able to bring to the table in that youth, you wonder, what's this team going to be like a year from now?
Well, they really are going to be good. I told, you know, Jeff, they've got some really good pieces. I mean, Randall Shaw was outstanding last night. I thought he was, you know, outside of Luke Wan, the best player on the floor. You know, he had 27 and hit a bunch of really difficult shots. I thought Maurice Howard, their young guys are playing really well. And another team that, like you said, has been right there. They're 3-6 in the league right now, but easily could be much better than that. You know, they really could be in much better situations. So, again, you know, they're going to be good. Jeff's going to do a good job recruiting. He did a great job for Jason when he was Jason's assistant there, you know, previously, and they went to an Elite 8 and stuff, and Jeff was the point man for them recruiting-wise. He'll get some good pieces around those pieces, but with no seniors in the rotation, they're going to be a load here for years to come.
I'm tired of seeing those teams return everybody. And speaking of that, we've got a game on Saturday over in Salisbury, North Carolina. We're going to face just that, a team that returns everybody from a year ago. Catawba really went to the wire with Wingate on Wednesday night. Didn't get it done, but it was very close. I think it was a 1-point win for the Bulldogs, and they had to come back to do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, Catawba's really good. You got with, you know, Rob's done an outstanding job in his 2 years there, kind of taking the reins from Jim Baker, and he's really got some good young players. They've obviously, you know, lost KJ Arrington before the season, which is a big loss for them. He was their leading scorer last year, but they got 2 outstanding guards in Jameel Taylor and Jaron Morrison. They got a big monster inside there at 6'9", 250, and Troy Warren. They've got a lot of experience back. You know, Rakeem Brown and Ben Silly do a good job at the point. Andrew Ingram. They just got a lot of depth and a lot of good players, but certainly Jameel Taylor and Jaron Morrison spearhead that attack, and they're only sophomores. So again, another team that's 5-4 in the league. Lost a 1-point game to Mars Hill, 1-point game again to Wingate, so they're 2 points away from being 7-2 in the league. I think they're one of the top tier teams in the South Atlantic Conference, and we'll have to be ready to go. We'll have to play very well down there, perform at a high level, do a good job and defensively and on both sides of the ball offensively, and really be turned up to play, because I know Catawba will be ready to go.
We've seen the strengths of the Railsplitters on the perimeter. We've seen the play on the inside on performances by anybody from Dorian Penson to Paul Woodson, Emmanuel Terry, Curtis McMillian on Wednesday night. Where do you see the weaknesses going into the final 13 games of the regular season schedule?
Well, I think, you know, I mean, obviously the biggest weakness I think would be in our defensive consistency. You know, I mean, we have to be more consistent on the defensive side of the ball. We really, you know, have struggled to guard the 3, although I don't know that's always been us. It feels like everybody shoots up, you know, goes in. I mean, Anderson hit 10 of them last night. A lot of them were very well contested. Not much you can do on those. Guys are just going to make shots over D, but we can be more consistent in our defensive execution. We can get better offensively. I thought, you know, ball can still move better. We can get into deeper layers offensively, and you can always rebound the ball better, be more sound there. So there's really nothing we can improve on. I do think I'd like to see more consistency from individual players, particularly at the inside. You know, we've talked about that with Emmanuel Terry, Curtis McMillian, and it's kind of been up and down. You know, Kurt struggled against Bellarmine. E was very good. Mars Hill, it was Nix and Blanc who was the best player. E and Kurt struggled. Obviously, Queens, E was great, and then last night, Kurt McMillan carried the way. So more consistency in production from the interior.
Coach, it's a long season, but I tell you right now, we're loving it, and we hope that it slows down a little bit and we take it game by game. Best of luck Saturday.
Appreciate it, Russ. Thanks.
Railsplitters and Indians tip off at 4 o'clock. We'll tell you more about that when we close out the show. Back after this on the Railsplitter Athletics Report.
Town Grill is a special place where you bring more than family, more than friends. Bring a hearty appetite, because at the Old Town Grill, you'll never walk away hungry. A delicious change from the ordinary. The perfect place to bring the entire family. The best food and plenty of it. Join the fun and treat your appetite to something special.
It's the OTG.
The OTG is the place to be.
Join the Vive broadband TV revolution. Vive gives you the freedom to choose with loads of new channels like Up TV, The Hub, The Blaze, and Cubo. Vive's Watch TV Everywhere feature gives you the freedom to watch participating channels just about anywhere, anytime, on any device. And Vive broadband speed gives you the freedom to power internet TV services like Netflix, Hulu, Apple TV, and Google Chromecast. Join the TV revolution at vivebroadband.com.
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness. I like discovering new things. You get to see what works for you and what doesn't. That helps you evolve as a person. You get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. I've always wanted to go to college. I just feel like that's my destiny. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.
Welcome back to the show. On Wednesday night, the Lincoln Memorial University women's basketball team went toe-to-toe with the number 14 nationally ranked Trojans from Anderson University. It went to overtime, in fact, 2 of them, before the issue could be decided. LMU unfortunately fell along the wayside with the loss, and for Crystal Evans and her team, it was a valiant effort, but free throws have got to be looked at a little more closely. 15 missed free throws in that event. If they hit half of those, they come out with the win. So they too will be in action on Saturday when they travel over to Catawba College to take on the Indians. Folks, the broadcast schedule for the rest of the basketball season, we'll throw that up, take a look at it. There you see we'll be on the road at Catawba this weekend. We come back home next Thursday night to host Tusculum College. That'll be a regionally broadcast matchup for the Railsplitters. Coker on the road down in Hartsville. That'll be through our flagship station. Then Carson Newman on the road over in Jefferson City, also on WLMU. And we close out the month of January at home with Lenore Ryan. That'll be a regionally broadcast game. That's about all the time we have for tonight. Folks, want to remind you to keep up to date on all going on with LMU Athletics by pulling up the LMU Athletics website, www.lmurailsplitters.com. You'll find all the latest scores, facts, statistics, player profiles, rosters, schedules, news releases, photographs, video, anything you want. It's all there. www.lmurailsplitters.com. That's all the time for tonight. Until next week, I'm Rusty Peace. For everybody behind the scenes, good night, everybody.